Good day, ma'am. I'm Vicentino from Green Lucy, and I report chapter 4, which is the types of police report. Um, Police reports are categorized into two types. So, uh, lagi natin tatandaan na ang police report ay divided sa dalawang kategorya. The first one is the basic or informal police report, and the second one is the investigative or formal police report. Basic or informal police reports, it is a report that deals with the ordinary, miscellaneous, usual day-to-day memorandum, letter of form accomplished by any member of a unit, section, precinct, bureau of division with the department in accordance with prescribed regulation. Usually, this report contains the following items. In short, ito nga yung basic report. Ito yung madalas na gawin ng mga kapulisan na hindi na kailangan ng pag-i-investigate. Yeah, for example is kunyari may bagong assignment. May kailangan na ipatupad na rules and regulation. 'Yun yung na kailangan nilang ipa-implement sa kanilang organisasyon. Yun. The heading or the letterhead of the organization, office, or section where the writer or the police investigator is assigned. Dito kung sa heading or the letterhead, ito yung yung kung saan nagmula yung letter or yung police report. Memorandum naman, number 2 is memorandum. Line, it is written in capital letters. Yon, lagi siyang nakasulat na capital letters with 2 spaces below the heading. Number 3, the addressee. To whom? Kung dito sinasabi yung to whom communication is to be sent. Kanino mo ba ipapadala? Yung kung kanino ba ipapadala. Ito yung it is either for or to, from a chief of office or from a senior officer to his subordinate. It is to, while from a subordinate to a chief of office or to a senior officer, it is for. So, kapag ang report ay nagmula sa subordinate, yan, subordinate officers or the senior officer or mas nakakataas, ang gagamitin mo dito is for. Pag mataas ang rango, ang gagamitin mo is for. And pag example naman yung sa 2 is kapag ang nagsulat ay chief of office ang nagsulat or senior officers, ang makakatanggap ay subordinates or mas mababa sa rango, ang gagamitin ay 2. Ayan. Mas mataas ang rango, ang gagamitin ay true. Mas mataas ang rango, ang gagamitin ay 4. Mas mababang rango ay gagamitin ay 2. Number 4. Channel. Where the communication will pass through before it reaches the addressee, the word through it is used. So, dito pinapadaan ang letter or report bago makarating sa addressee. Ayun, magamit ng true. Yun yung ginagamit nila, true. Subject. Yun. Subject is the meat of the communication. Meat. Ito yung kung ano ang laman or kung ano ang laman ng letter or kung ano ang reason kung bakit ka nagsulat ng letter. Yung date, subject. Date, when the communication is written, kung kailan ginawa ang letter na, itong, lalagay mo yung date, yan, kung kailan mo ginawa yung letter. Tapos, number 7, the text proper of or the body of the communication. Body of the communication relevant to the subject. Number 8, the name of the writer, kung sino nga ba yung sumulat ng source of communication. Number 9, signature, pirma. Signature of the writer, yung pirma na nagsulat. Basic or informal reports are generally informal in nature. It seldom goes out the police department. An example of this common report, ayun nga yung kunyari magre-request kayo ng mandatory leave, 5 days mandatory leave. Then magagawa ka ng letter. Kunyari gusto mo rin lumipat sa ibang presinto, magagawa ka din ng letter. Ayan nga yung example ng letter natin. Ng basic or informal police report. Number B. Investigate or formal report. Ayan. Pag sinabi natin na investigate or mas kilala na formal report, this report covers a full dress treatment in presentation of the case. It is an exhaustive narration of facts, without any addition or subtraction which were discovered during the course of the investigation. Formal or investigative report is classified in the following. So, investigative or formal report, ito yung yung kaso na pinag-uusapan. Ito ay ito yung mga crimes and may cases na rin. Tapos yung mga data, dapat yung data, yung narration niya, yung dapat lahat ay facts. Yan, initial or advanced report, it is an advanced information or a new fresh case. Yan, bago pa yung kaso. Assigned to a particular investigator, it is written and submitted immediately after having conducted the initial investigation of the case. So, dito sinasabi na, ginagawa sa isang tao na na-assign, yan, kagaya ng mga investigator. Yan, written and submitted immediately. Pagkatapos mag-conduct ng initial investigation ng kaso, kung ano lang yung mga nakalap mo na information nung mismong araw na yun lang dapat yung laman ng report mo. Tapos lagi mong tatandaan na yung mga nakasulat doon is always answerable by 5 W's and 1 H. Ito naman sa initial report din, pinapasa sa mismong araw kung kailan nangyari ang insidente. Hindi dapat yon matatapos ng 24 hours. Progress or follow-up. Ito yung progress na may umuusad na yung kaso. It is the result of the follow-up in stagnation of the fresh or new case. It is written and submitted every time or wherever any development or progress is accomplished in the follow-up investigation. Ayan, ginagawa sa tuwing may bagong information ka na nakakalap, nagkakaroon ng progress, yun, umuusad nga yung kaso, nadadagdagan. Kunyari, may info ka na nalaman nalaman mo na yung kung sino yung suspect, yung dadagdag mo yun. Yung bago matapos ang 3 days, dapat masubmit mo na tong yung follow-up report. Next, yung final or closing report. Dito naman, it is a complete written narration of facts based on an extensive investigation of the case by the police investigator who initially started the investigation of the case. It is the result of evaluation, summation, analysis of all the facts and circumstances surrounding the case, tying a loose and pertinent there to us form a clear and composite picture of the crime committed in the minds of the readers for prosecutorial and judicial action. So final, dito na yung nag-i-evaluate ka na. Nag-i-evaluate yung mga result in-evaluate mo na sa final closing report. Tapos dito din yung makakategorize mo na yung case is solved and closed. Kapag ang offender ay naaresto, may ebidensya na against sa kanya. Next, final or closing report. Ayun nga yung kaya kanina. Dun nga. Yan yung paggawa ng letter. Other types of police report. The following types of reports are commonly used in every police departments. Number 1 is arrest report. Arrest reports are used to document the events that occur when you arrest a suspect. Ito yung sinasabi dito sa arrest report. Ito yung gagawin ito kapag ikaw ay arresting officer, ikaw yung mag-aaresto dun sa suspect. Clearance report are used to document the disposition of a criminal case. Ginagawa ito kapag disposition na yung criminal case. Include arrest, identification of the suspect without arrest, recovery of property, restitution of filing a criminal complaint. You seldom use clearance reports or non-criminal incidents. The next is the crime report. Crime reports, sometimes called case sheets, are complete when your preliminary investigation results in the conclusion that a crime occurred. The report documents your preliminary investigation and must include suspect descriptions, property taken, evidence collected, property damage, and injuries to the victim. It should also include information about the suspect's modus operandi. Ito ang pinagkukuhanan ng basis about sa mga statistical data and analysis. Yung you may record yun nga yung you may record daily activity on a daily activity report of officer's logbook. Ayun yan, doon nakalagay yung mga nangyayari sa pang-araw-araw sa logbook na yun. Typically, the report includes the location, saan nangyari, yung amount of time spent, the names of people you talk to, sino yung kausap, brief. Many agencies you may use mobile data terminal or laptop computer record the information. So dito nga yung mga pulis nagdadala sila yung tickler. Nagdadala sila ng tickler tapos ballpen, tapos doon nila sinusulat yung mga nangyayari sa araw-araw. Tapos, evidence report, the collection and preservation of evidence at a crime scene may be documented in evidence report. You use it to document the chain of evidence. You may also use it to request forensic examination of that. So, dito ah yung incident report ay yung mga evidence yung mga evidence na kailangan siyang ma-preserve, yung pwede siyang iano sa mga forensic chemist. Kailangan nakalagay siya sa may mga parang plastic para hindi siya ma-contaminate. Yan yun. You may also use to request. Pwede ka lang basta mag-request sa mga forensic chemist. The next is incident report. Incident report document events that are not crimes. Nire-record mo yung mga events na hindi naman sa mga kaso na hindi yan. Depending on the activity in your jurisdiction, 70% of your calls of service may not be for crimes. For example, ayun nga, yung hindi naman lahat ng na incident report itungkol sa crime, kagaya na lang ng example dito is medical aid, calls, and civil disputes. If many of these cases, you will have to write a report documenting your action. Incident reports may also be called service or miscellaneous report. Yung incident report, palagi natin tatandaan na yun. Miscellaneous reports or sinatawag na MI. Miscellaneous reports or MI. Miscellaneous incident report. Ito yung day-to-day laging nangyayari pero hindi naman siya related sa crime. Parang ganun. Memorandum. Memo is report on departmental form and is used to clarify the daily operation of the department. You may use memos to request information and to respond to requests for information. You frequently write memos concerning personnel requests, maintenance requests, and training. The next is narcotics of intoxication reports. Narcotics or intoxication reports are used to document the suspect condition when under the influence of drugs or alcohol. On opiate influence cases, the report may include a diagram showing the location of puncture wounds. It is not uncommon to complete an intoxication report for a suspect arrest for driving under the influence of alcohol and or drugs for public intoxication. So, narcotics and intoxication reports, ito yung ginagamit na document kapag ang suspect is under siya ng influence ng drugs or alcohol. Nung siya, under siya ng drugs or alcohol, nung siya ay nagkukumit ng crime. The next is supplemental reports. Supplemental reports, in many cases, you are not the first officer. Yun, hindi ka ang unang officer na nandoon sa crime scene. Pero you may still conduct the part of the investigation. You will need to document your action in a supplemental or follow-up report. You may also use a supplemental report to record information you discover after you have written the original report. So, dito sinasabi, ito nga yung supplemental, parang backup sa report. Ito yung backup sa report ng first respondent. Hindi ikaw ang unang respondent, second ka lang. Pangalawa, ang gagawin mo ay supplement or pang backup lamang na report. Ang action na ginagawa nung ikaw ay rumisponde, ibig na hindi ikaw ang unang responder. Traffic accident reports. The traffic accident reports document facts the scene of a traffic collision. So, dito sinasabi na kailangan puro facts, mga makatotohanan lang kung ano talaga yung nangyari doon sa insidenteng yun. Your report may include statements of witness. Kailangan dito yung anin mo yung mga sinasabi ng witness. Kailangan meron kang photographs for evidence depending on your department's policy and state law. Traffic officers may use a shot from the report or non-injury incidents. Part of civilian letter. Heading. Heading, it includes the writer's address and the date. Yun. The letter is written. It is located on the top of the page, and it's usually as 3 lines. The first line gives the letter street. Ayan, sa unang line na nakalagay dito, naka-indicate dito, yung writer's street address, and the second gives the city, state, and zip code kapag alam. The third line tells the date. Yon, kung kailan yung date ng letter was, kailan ba sinulat yung letter na yon. Most of the heading may be omitted in a personal letter but always include the date. Laging talagang may date. Business firms have printed or engraved letterheads that provide their names, address, telephone numbers. Some also add the name or title of the writer or the writer's department or section. For example, 713 Severino Street. Ito yung address, yung Quiapo, Manila. Ito yung city. Yung state is Philippines, zip code. Kung alam. Yun. Address. It shows the name and address of the recipient, that is the person or firm to whom the letter is written. Para kanino ba yung sinusulat ko? Taga saan siya? In many business letters, the inside address can be written in 3 lines. 3 lines. The name of the recipient appears on the first line. The name of the recipient appears on the first line. The street address on the second. And the city, state, or zip code kapag alam on the third. The inside address of a letter directed to an individual in an office should include the person's business title and the name of the firm. Most names and titles should be written out in full. However, some abbreviations of titles are most commonly used, especially Dr., Miss, Mrs., and Miss. The first line of the inside address should be placed at least 2 lines lower than the date, and inside address should appear in all business letters but is optional in personal. Yan, kunyari, ipapadala mo kay Dr. Marie Grace M. Canta yung Top Avenue, Manila, yung address niya. Tapos yung city and state niya, Department of Pediatrics, dun siya nagtatrabaho. Next, salutation. Pag sinabi natin salutations, ito yung sabi na greetings. Salamat. It is should given 2 lines. Nyari, single ng sirs, plural sirs, madam, madams, dear madam, dear madams. Below the last line of the inside address in business letters, the most common salutation combines a title and the person's last name, such as Dear Miss Dobson, or salutation combines a title and the person's last name, such as Dear Miss Dobson, or Dear Dr. Davis. Use Dear Sir or Dear Madam when the recipient name is unknown, di mo kilala, or when writing to a company. Call friends by their first name or a nickname, such as Dear David. Ito yung mga taong talagang kilala mo talaga. Dear Sandy, use a colon. Gagamit ka ng colon after the salutation in a business letter, but use a comma kapag personal letter na ang susulat mo. Next, yung body. Body, it contains the writer's actual message. Dito na nakapalag kung ano ba yung mga sasabihin mo doon sa papadalan mo ng letter. In a typewritten, the body should begin 2 lines trimmed yard below the salutation. All paragraphs within the body should be separated by space 1 extra line. So, yon yung kanina, yung sa heading, yung complementary clause, at signature, at yung signature line doon kanina. Ito. Yan. Sa heading. Yung complementary clause at yung signature line niya, matatagpuan siya sa right corner. Tapos while yung other parts naman, matatagpuan siya sa left corner. Tapos hindi na tayo. Complementary clause, yun. Complementary clause, just as the salutation greets the reader. Ito na yung para nagpapasalamat ka na dito. Yung ayun, inalagay na sa dulo. Reader, at one beginning of a letter, the complementary clause says goodbye at the end. These two parts of the letter should be consist in their degree of formality. In a letter that opens with Dear Mr. Caldwell or Dear Sir or Dear Madam, the complementary could be yours truly. So, kapag ang ginamit mo, Dear Mr. Caldwell, or Dear Sir, or Dear Madam, yung gagamitin mong complementary clause ay yours truly, or very truly yours. For an informal closing, ito yung informal. Yung cordially or best regard is appropriate if the salutation is Dear Bill. Proper closings include gagamitin mo na dito, yung proper closing is sincerely, cordiala, and with warmest regards. The complementary clause should end with a comma. The clause should be 2 lines below the body of the letter. Signature. Ito na yung pirma. Tawag na pirma sa Tagalog. It is the writer's name. It should handwritten in it. Sa may nagsulat ng letter, tas pipirma na siya dun sa may bandang taas. Below the complementary clause is typewritten letters. The writer's name should be typed 4 or 5 lines. 4 or 5 lines below the complementary clause. With the handwritten signature placed between the closing and the typewritten signature, the writer may add his or her title in parentheses to the left of the typewritten name, yan sa kaliwa. As in Dr. Jackson Batty or Miss Leigh Rigby. The abbreviation Miss has now largely replaced Miss or Miss. Many women prefer this title because it does not reveal their marital status. However, a married woman might add her married name in parentheses beneath her legal name, as in Annie Peter with Mrs. Kevin Peters, written beneath it. In some companies, the writer's business title or department is placed on the line beneath. the type signature. The company's name may also be included with the signature through most. The form. The form of the letter depends on the way the 6 parts of the letter are arranged on the page. Yun, depende nga daw sa 6 parts ng letter. The most common forms are full block. Ito ang kadalasan natin na ginagamit dahil ito yung pinakamadaling gamitin tsaka pinakamabilis na gamitin, yung full block form. All parts of a letter in full block form begin, yan, nagsisimula up, no, at the left margin, sa kaliwa. New paragraphs are not indented. An extra line of space separates the paragraphs. The next one is the semi-block is less formal than the full block form. The heading is placed in the upper right hand corner. Yan, sa kaliwa. Both the complementary clause and the type signature line up vertically with the heading. All other parts of the letter begin at the left margin. New paragraphs are not indented. An extra line of space separates paragraphs. The envelope address usually in the same inside address. Kung ano yung nakalagay mo dun sa may inside address mo, kailangan ayun din yung nakalagay dun sa may envelope address mo. Letter is most commonly considered in the envelope. The address should be at least 3 lines long. Use the capitalized 2-letter post office abbreviation for the state or province. The writer's return address goes in the upper left-hand corner of the envelope. Sa taas ng kaliwang banda ng envelope. Always single-space addresses. Margins. Ito na yung sukat. Margins plays an important role. Ito yung pinaka-importanting role pagdating sa paggawa ng letter format. In general, teachers rate a student team by its appearance. Hence, it is important that kailangan natin malaman yung kung how place proper margins. Yung pagsulat ng letter writing, alam natin dapat yun. Yung margins, rules normally considers the following spaces. Ito yung mga spaces. Top first page. Ito yung una. Without printed letterhead, type letterhead. 3/4 inch or 5 ruler space. From the edge of the paper. Top second and succeeding pages 1 and 1/4 inch or ruler spaces from the top of the paper. Left 11 to 4 inches or 15 bar spaces sa ruler. Right 3/4 inches or 7 bar spaces. Bottom, yung na 1 and 1/4 spaces or 7 ruler spaces. The heading including the address appears on the upper third of the sheet so that when the paper is folded, the address can be seen through the glassine window of the envelope. On the letter address to a single addressee. About 5 blank spaces between the first line of the body letter are needed to meet this requirement. The rule of placement follow even though window envelope is not used. The body of the letter is placed on the lower 2/3 on the sheet. It is followed by the complementary ending. Ito yung example ng civilian letter. Medyo malabo nga lang. Malabo talaga siya. And that's all. Thank you and God bless po, ma'am.